Thank you for watching RooTV.
Thanks for joining us for this week's episode of RooTV. I'm Marissa Leggio.
And I'm Grace Kertz. Did you notice that UMKC updated their logo in 2022? Some embraced the subtle difference, while others consider it a downgrade. Keep watching to hear more thoughts and reasoning on the change.
Deadly shootings continue to rise in Kansas City after a woman was killed in an overnight shooting Friday morning. Around 2:45 a.m., Kansas City police were called to the area of Westport Road and Mill Street for a reported shooting. After arriving, officers located an adult woman with gunshot wounds in the parking lot of the World Market just under 10 minutes away from UMKC's campus. Police identified the victim as 21-year-old Alana Collier. EMS arrived and pronounced the woman dead at the scene a short time later. Mayor Quentin Lucas even shared his ideas on Twitter for how Westport can improve safety and security. Mayor Lucas stated, "Turning a few feet of public sidewalk into private space was never a safety cure for Westport long term. Activation, lighting, and security in large parking lots is one step that we continue to encourage neighborhood owners to pursue. More staggered bar closing times is another." People who live in the Westport area are starting to become more and more afraid of the area, especially in the nighttime hours.
UMKC students, faculty, and families packaged thousands of pounds of turnips on January 28th for UMKC's yearly Volunteer Day at Harvesters. 760 nonprofit organizations receive food and household products from Harvesters, including emergency food pantries, community kitchens, homeless shelters and facilities, children's homes, and more. Harvesters also provides programs to educate the community about the importance of good nutrition and hunger. Not only did volunteers get to contribute to the community's well-being, but they also connected with others. Laura Moore, a senior project coordinator of UMKC's Outreach Committee, said she's had nothing but great experiences with Harvesters.
Coffee, the key to a college student's heart. Good thing a brand new coffee shop in Kansas City just opened and is less than 10 minutes away from campus. Grand Coffee Company opened its doors just 2 weeks ago and is already stealing the hearts of UMKC students. Owner Sal Silvio decided he wanted to share some of his family's favorite coffee, pastry, and food recipes with the rest of Kansas City. Grand Coffee Company is a new perfect spot to study, do homework, and of course, drink coffee. The shop has a variety of coffee options, pastries, teas, food, and Italian cookies. Grand Coffee Company is located at 2345 Grand Boulevard, so make sure you stop by and check it out the next time you need to fulfill those coffee cravings.
Let's turn it over to sports and lifestyle and culture.
Welcome back into the den. I'm Jackson Ogden. It is officially Super Bowl week, but before we dive into the big game, let's hit on all things Kansas City athletics. Women's basketball's tough season continued this past week with an 86-68 loss to Oral Roberts. Despite the loss, Mania Mensah dropped a career-high 32 points and 4 assists while playing all 40 minutes to continue her impressive season. Part of the reason she had to play the entire game is because the Roos roster has become razor thin, with 4 players leaving the team during the season and an injury to starter Sinai St. Andre, which has kept her sidelined since December 29th. My good friend Christian Martinez has a full story posted on the state of the team on Roo News website. I recommend checking it out. Men's basketball suffered a similar fate against Oral Roberts on Saturday with an 85-57 loss. They'll hit the road this week to take on Western Illinois in St. Thomas. On to Super Bowl 57, the Chiefs and Eagles have both landed in Arizona for the big game, and media week is well underway. The Chiefs announced today that they have activated Clyde Edwards-Helaire off injured reserve, and in a corresponding move, put Mecole Hardman on season-ending injured reserve, meaning he will not be able to suit up for the big game. However, it appears Juju Smith-Schuster and Kadarius Toney are trending towards playing, which will be huge against an elite Eagles defense. It's that time again for me to give my prediction. Nostradamus back here, and I'm predicting this one to be a shootout with the Chiefs scoring a touchdown in the last few minutes to win it 34-30. Now, before I go, here are the songs I am begging Rihanna to play for the halftime show. First things first, Umbrella, Don't Stop the Music and S&M are my non-negotiables. If she does not play those, be heartbroken, it's going to be a bust. But selfishly, I would love for her to play SOS and specifically Love on the Brain. Oh, I love that song. But with more on Rihanna, let's kick it over to Joshua Cunningham.
Welcome back to Lifestyle and Culture. I'm your host, Joshua Cunningham. And last week, I told you guys I was going to be listing off some of my favorite Rihanna songs, but I've switched it up a little bit. You know, I've talked to some of the people backstage, and, you know, they've helped me out with ideas. So I'm going to go through what a perfect halftime performance from Rihanna would look like, okay? And this is my personal list, so don't get mad if your favorite song isn't on here. This is what I would think, okay? So I think she starts off with Don't Stop the Music, because what's a better way to start a halftime show than getting everybody just dancing? I mean, this is a banger. I've been listening to it recently. I love the song. I'd be dancing. I'd be going crazy. I think it'd be great. And then continue the dancing with Calvin Harris, This Is What You Came For. It's just a rave now. We're all just partying, you know, it's just a good time. And I think about that song literally all the time. Like randomly throughout the day, like for 7 years straight, I feel like This Is What You Came For just pops in my head. And then I think she performs Work. But not because Work is one of her greatest songs or anything, but because Drake's gonna come out and perform it with her. Rihanna, I love you, and it'd be fine. It'd be a great halftime show if it was just you. But if you bring Drake out, that's just the icing on the cake, the cherry on top. That'd be just so fun to see Drake there. I'd get so hyped. And so I think she should do that. And then she's going to do Only Girl in the World afterwards. This one is very personal. I mean, I forgot about the song today, but it's crazy that I could forget about such a great song. I mean, she has to perform it at the halftime show. Then we're going to go back to a little more Calvin Harris, get us dancing again with We Found Love, and she's going to kill it. And we're all going to be dancing, having a great time. And then she's going to tell us she's about to drop an album. And we're going to go crazy because that's what I want her to tell us. And she's going to perform a new single from that album. And it would just make my day. I mean, more Rihanna, like, that's the best thing ever, okay? So I want her to perform a new song. And then, again, I'm going to get personal. There's almost no way she performs this song at the halftime show. But if she sang Love on the Brain, slowed it down for us, really just made us think about our exes and everything and made us sad for a little bit, I think that'd be great. I would love to hear Love on the Brain performed by her. And then after that, we sing Umbrella, because Umbrella is just so nostalgic for me. It's a great song. Everybody would be singing Ella, 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 eh. Like, everyone will do that part. It'll just get us hyped up again. Right before she ends off with Diamond. I mean, all the people want to shine bright like a diamond. All the football players will be playing for that diamond ring in the second half, and it'll just inspire them, you know, more. So the second half of football will be even better than the first half because they just saw Rihanna perform Diamond, and it'll remind them of what they're trying to get, you know. They're trying to be a diamond, but they're also trying to chase the diamond, you know what I'm saying? So I think that would be the perfect Rihanna concert for the halftime show. I'd love to see that, or at least some of these songs. I hope at least some of them are on here. But that's all the time I have for. Come back to RooTV next week to hear me talk about more music, and follow me on Instagram for more music opinions at mr.cunning123.
Welcome back to Book Review. My name is Afnan Hussain, and today I'm doing my favorite books by my second favorite author, Fitzgerald. Francis Scott Fitzgerald was an American writer of novels and short stories, whose works have been seen as evocative of the Jazz Age, a term he himself allegedly coined. Fitzgerald was of the self-styled Lost Generations, Americans born in the 1890s who came of age during World War I. He is regarded as one of the greatest 20th century writers and my second favorite author. Now, let's get into my favorite Fitzgerald stories. Starting with number 3, we have The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, a witty and fantastical satire about aging. In 1860, Benjamin Button is born an old man and mysteriously begins aging backward. At the beginning of his life, he is withered and worn, but as he continues to grow younger, he embraces life. He goes to war, runs a business, falls in love, has children, goes to college and prep school. And as his mind begins to devolve, he attends kindergarten and eventually returns to the care of his nurse. This strange and haunting story embodies the sharp social insight that has made Fitzgerald one of the greatest voices in the history of American literature. Coming in number 2, we have The Great Gatsby. I know, how cliche. We all read it in high school, but you can't compete where you don't even compare.
It is a story of disillusionment with dreams that prove to be shallow and unworthy of the dreamer, while at the same time firmly hanging on to the idea of the dream and the ability to dream big. This book is wildly addictive, so intricate yet perfectly woven together. A brilliant literary masterpiece. I have to keep going back to reconnect with Jay Gatsby, a naive but beautiful and charming hope, perfectly imperfect, and a relentless dreamer. And lastly, my favorite Fitzgerald novel of all time, The Beautiful and the Damned. This follows the lives of two characters as they come together in a time filled with drinking and dancing and fall apart when vanity and alcoholism take over in later years. This book has stayed with me. I love this story of a couple desperately awaiting an inheritance. Hope can be so destructive. Now it's time for an excerpt. I lost it. There it go. Bear with me, guys. Okay. You're a quaint little determinist, laughed Anthony. It's your world, isn't it? Well, she said with a quick upward glance, isn't it? As long as I'm young. She had paused slightly before the last word, and Anthony suspected that she had started to say beautiful. It was undeniably what she had intended. But let's dance, was all she said. If you like this book review, check out my Instagram at afhussain_ for more. Thanks for listening.
It's been almost a year since UMKC updated their logo. But why? And has this change been met positively or by criticism? Michael Awudwa, a graphic designer at UMKC, explained saying, the changes were meant to be subtle and improve its readability, especially in the digital spaces where the logo has to be really small. Marketing student Samantha Lamb expressed that she doesn't think the logo was worth changing. Yet, Sarah Richardson, a graphic designer at UMKC, said a bigger change would have required a much larger budget, because everything would have had to change. That would have been a huge undertaking. Meanwhile, marketing student Harper Zimlich articulated her preference for the previous font while understanding the reason for the change.
Thanks for watching this week's episode of RooTV. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and follow us on Instagram and Twitter at RooNewsUMKC.
Tune in next week.
The beautiful and the damned. It's like that. The damned. Where is she? Which heart do you like? This heart or this heart?
Which one? 'Cause in season, yeah, all the girls be needing. Yeah, if y'all know any single girls that would be needing a big boy, let me know.